Hi guys, today we are going to cover on Scratch Beginner 5, which is basically about a review on what we have covered on previously on how to create a Scratch game. And at the same time, we are going to cover something which is new, how to control a sprite with your mouse. So today, the game is based on a very popular game called Five Nights at Freddy's. Uh, but this is a very miniature game. As you can see, the interface has a wall, the Freddy the Bear, the guard, and two cupcakes. So there's this instruction called click on the guard to start the game. You will use your mouse to move the guard to get the two cupcakes to win the game. To lose the game, you have to either touch the wall or touch Freddy the Bear. So you are provided with these four images. Just to have a visualization how the game is going to be, let's play the game for a while. So when you press the green flag, it will show you the mouse, show you the instruction called click on the guard to start the game. Once you click, then the game will start to run. So the guard is supposed to go and collect the two cupcakes. As you notice, once the guard touches the cupcake, the cupcake will disappear and the score becomes additionally to one more. So once the score becomes 2, you will win. If you notice, the lives is actually just 1. So if you were to touch the Freddy, or maybe when you touch the wall, you will lose. That means when you touch the wall, the lives will decrease by 1. Or alternatively, if you touch the bear, yeah, you will lose. So don't worry, I'm not going to give you the jump scare of the Freddy the Frazbear. I just want you to display the you lose message. So let's get ready to develop the game. So you have to create a game where the guard is supposed to eat both of the cupcakes and avoid Freddy the Bear. So the rules of the games are, when the green flag is clicked, lives will be set to 1. The score will be set to 0. Guard, cupcake 1, cupcake 2, and Freddy will be at their fixed positions. And the instruction click on the guard to start the game is shown together with other sprites. Let's do this part first. So I wouldn't need this sprite. I'm going to be a bit faster on the basics. So later when I go over to the portion about how to control the main sprite with your mouse, that's where I'll explain even further. There are some white parts, so you can actually make them into transparency. You can actually duplicate them once it's perfect. I'm going to import the wall as a sprite instead of a background. If you want to choose it as a background for as you if you want to put the wall as a stage itself, right? So if you want to detect whether the guard is touching the wall, you have to see whether he is touching a specific color rather than the sprite itself. So it'll be much more easier if you were to put the wall as a sprite. So this way you can just actually check whether the guard is touching the wall sprite directly, which makes things easier. Can you imagine if, let's say, the wall has different colors, then you have to compare multiple colors just for the uh, stage background. So it will be much more easier to just put it as a sprite. So let's give it a transparency so we can see through what are the characters or sprites within the wall. Okay, so now we have our guard here. We are going to position our Freddy Frazbear, but apparently we want him to pass through this wall back and forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce his size a bit, so he can be almost the same size as the guard. Cupcake 1 to be here, Cupcake 2 can be somewhere here. Try to make it as similar to the worksheet as possible. Okay. Let me see whether I'm still recording. Okay, that's good. Now, we are going to cover on the initialization portion. The worksheet is asking you to set the lives to 1 when the green flag is clicked. So our main character here would be actually the guard. So under scripts, when green flag is clicked, I'll create a new variable called lives. So I set the lives to 1. Score will be set to 0. The guard, Cupcake 1, Cupcake 2, Freddy will be at the start, fixed starting positions. So I'm just going to go under the motion. You can drag and drop the go to XY. So it is actually reflecting the present XY positions. You can do the same for Cupcakes and the Freddy sprites. So you can see that each of the sprites has their own when green flag clicked blocks coming up to initialize themselves. So it's best to put show to. Together with Freddy. Followed by our wall. The go-to for the wall is not really necessary, but in case if I were to accidentally move the stage with my mouse, at least it can go back to the original position. That's why I do this. Makes my life easier. Okay, next. The instruction click on the guard to start the game is shown together in the background with other sprites. Okay, this instruction is always exclusive for games starting with the controller as the mouse. Uh, this is usually the standard for any Scratch game. So let's say now I'm going to insert an instruction. So that instruction can be under stage. I'm going to paint a new one with the with this instruction called click on the guard to start the game. can actually drag by using clicking and dragging this black color box to estimate somewhere here. You can only estimate it, see whether it appears there or not. So I'll press OK first to see whether it appears. No, I have to lower it a bit so that it can go over there nicely. Yeah, it should be here. Yeah, just nice. So I want to put this as instruction, the other one to be the game. So when I start the game, I want the instruction to come up first. So when I click on the guard, then I'll start to play the game. So under the next part, it says the game will only start to run after the player has clicked on the guard, and the instruction will disappear. This is how to do it. There's new block called when the guard clicked. This click is upon mouse click. So when this happens, you will actually tell the other sprites saying that the game is going to run. So you can maybe broadcast game run for the others to receive this instruction and run their own instructions. So let's say I broadcast game run and wait. The first thing is supposed to happen is to disappear this message and let the game run. So I'll go under stage. When I receive this instruction game run, I'll switch my look over to game. For Freddy, when I receive game run, I'm supposed to start moving. So if you were to see, uh, the game loop starts over here. So during the previous videos, you have heard me saying that for the game loop, it's best to put under a condition saying that uh, it repeats until the win condition or the lose condition is met. So I'm going to put repeat until. I'm going to put a or inside. What's the win condition here? It is to see whether the score is equals to 2. So I'm going to put score equals to 2. Or life equals to 0. That means he's dead. Okay, I'm going to show you a portion where I do not want to put, or why I do not want to put the moving instruction of the bear here. I can only demonstrate to you while I develop the code. Okay, let's say now when this loop runs, I'm going to give the instruction for the bear to move. Let's say example, I give a new instruction for move bear. So this move bear instruction is supposed to move the bear 10 steps. Let's see how the game runs. I click on the guard. I see whether the bear is moving. Yes, so far it is moving very fast. Let's say once it reaches the stage end, it's supposed to bounce back and move back and forth. So I'm going to make it move back and forth. Let's say now I'm going under motion, if on each bounce. So I'm going to make it move only face only left and right. Let's see what happens. So it's moving left and right. But the thing is, if you want to reduce the speed of this bear, you won't be able to. Let's say now I'm going to enable the guard to move along with my mouse too. Let's tackle that also. So repeat until the win condition or lose condition is met. So I'm going to make it move in my cursor's position. So I'm going to make it go to, I'm going to make it sense the mouse X and mouse Y positions. So it will go automatically go over to the X, Y coordinates of my mouse. Now, if I were to run this, the guard will be following my mouse cursor and the bear will be moving very fast. The thing is that if I want to slow down the bear a bit, let's say I want to put a weight between the move 10 steps. So that I can try to delay it. Maybe I put 0.1 seconds. When this happens, my mouse, my sprite also would actually decrease together with the bear. So this is not really efficient. I'll show you the effect more. Over here, let's say I'm going to put 0.5 seconds. This one won't be effective because what the instruction is set by the guard is actually to broadcast move bear. So it will actually literally ignore this wait 0.5 seconds, and at the same time it will keep on moving 10 steps in its own speed. So you will see that this wait point 0.5 seconds will be ineffective. It won't listen to that instruction because it keeps on going over to move 10 steps. So now, to counter this, if I were to try to bring this wait 0.5 seconds over to the guard, to effectively slow it down, I would be slowing my animation for the guard too. So it's pretty choppy over here. So what we can do over here, for this kind of situations, this is where you can put this whole loop into the Freddy's sprite. So this Freddy sprite will have its own control processor. So it will have its own loop which is running together with this guard's loop. So you must have your own discretion on deciding how many concurrent processes you want it to run. So let's say now I'm going to duplicate this process and put it under Freddy. Let me shift it over to the Freddy side. It should appear here. The instructions, you can actually remove it away. I just want this loop to be inside. So this loop is supposed to contain its own processing. So you are delegating this whole instruction of moving the bear to the bear itself. So it will have its own mind of moving the sprite. So it will move 10 steps. If on edge, it will bounce, and you can set the speed too. Let's say I'm going to put it as 0.5 seconds. And the guard, I'm going to remove this broadcast move bear because it's moving on its own already. It's just going to control by itself. It's just going to control the guard itself. So let's see how it runs. So as you can see, now the bear is not moving yet. Let me see what has happened. Oh, so it is still waiting for this instruction called move bear. What I can do is actually I can just put game run. So when the instruction game run is sent, it will start to run. Okay, now my guard is not moving. Let's see how to troubleshoot that. Let's stop and play the game, see what happened. Okay, I've noticed the error already. It has broadcasted the instruction called game run and wait. So what happened is that the Freddy process is running continuously, and at the same time the guard is actually waiting for it before it can start moving the sprite according to my mouse. So it's not supposed to be broadcast game run and wait, it's supposed to be just broadcast game run. So you need to have the discretion of when to use broadcast and wait. So let's see whether it works. Yep. So now my guard is moving correctly, and the bear is also moving correctly too. So now next one I'm going to tackle is the next instruction. The game runs until score equals to 2 or lives equals to 0. That's done. Freddy will keep moving left to right and bounces back if it touches the edge of the screen. That is done too. In the game, if the guard touches a cupcake, that cupcake will disappear and score will decrease by 1. Let's do this part. Let's say the cupcake is 1. Let's say I'm going to touch it. It should disappear. So I'm going to put a if. Within this game loop, if I'm touching the cupcake 1, I'll change the score by 1 and will hide the cupcake. To hide the cupcake, I will actually broadcast an instruction called hide cupcake 1. I hope that's the right cupcake. I'll tap and see whether that's the correct position which is coming up. Yep, correct. So on the top right corner is cupcake 1. So when I send this instruction, cupcake 1 is supposed to receive it. So I will put up a new block called hide cupcake 1 and hide it. Let's see whether this works. Yeah, score becomes 1 and the cupcake hides. Next one I'm going to tackle is a cupcake 2. So instead of doing manually, I'm just going to duplicate the whole instruction and put it to cupcake 2. I'll give a new instruction called hide cupcake 2. I can actually duplicate this part too. So be careful if you were to duplicate, you must know which instructions you are supposed to modify. Otherwise, your game will run with bugs. Let's see whether both of the cupcakes work. Okay, I've clicked the guard. Okay, score becomes 1, score becomes 2, and the game stops. So once the game stops, it's supposed to show you win. So I can put another if condition below the game loop. If score equals to 2, if score equals to 2, all sprites should hide and only the text you win is displayed in the stage. So I'm going to give a new instruction called hide all sprites. So under this new instruction, it is supposed to hide. So you can put this new instruction here, hide all sprites, and you just put hide. You can duplicate this across all the sprites, including the wall. You're supposed to relay the instruction, you win. For the you win instruction, the stage is supposed to switch its own background. So you can paint a new background called you win. So since we are here, we might as well can do another one more background. It will be you lose. So when I receive the instruction you win, I'll change appropriately. So if the score equals to 2, you're supposed to show you win. Otherwise, you will hide all the sprites and show you lose. You can just duplicate this over here. Okay, let's say how we are going to make the lives decrease. So the life is supposed to decrease when we touch the stage, when we touch the wall or touch Freddy. So let's see whether the cupcakes portion works. Okay, score becomes 1, score becomes 2, and you win. This part works. Okay, the only thing we need to do right now is about the guard. When I press the green flag, the guard is missing. So what you can do, you can go check under the initialization, see whether it is shown. It is not showing over there. So that's why when you initialize, it's best to show the sprites which are necessary. Let's see whether it works. Okay. Now the portion we are going to tackle is about when we touch the wall or the Freddy, our lives is supposed to decrease. So we can put it under this game loop. If you are touching the Freddy, lives will decrease by 1. You must be very careful where you place your if. If you can notice, this if touching cupcake 1, if touching cupcake 2, and the next if I'm going to provide is actually all of them are not intertwined. They are separated because they cannot happen together. They can only happen one at a time. So I'm going to put if touching Freddy, change lives by -1. Same goes for the wall. Let's see whether our game runs. Okay, cupcake 1, I touch the wall, you lose. So life has become to 0 and you lose. The next one I'm going to check is whether the Freddy part works or not. I'm going to touch Freddy. Okay, so life has become to 0 and you lose. So we have touched the basic part on how to actually control a sprite using a mouse, and at the same time reviewing how to construct the game using the basic template, that is to initialize in the beginning. When green flag is clicked, you initialize first, then followed by you have this game loop where you will repeat until you win or you lose, and finally if you win you do the necessary instructions, else you do the losing instructions. So I hope this will help you in your task today. Thank you very much for viewing my video. And really special credits go out to the creators who have created the fantastic game Five Nights at Freddy's. This is my son's favorite game. He has been playing it since last year. He's actually just 9. He's a fan of it. I love that sound. Thank you guys.